Today on Business Success in Six with Stacie, I have Brian Schwaller here from EcoManity in Plymouth, Wisconsin. Brian, thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for having me, Stacie.
I'm really excited to talk to you about EcoManity. And truly, we had a great conversation before I pressed record. So let's just go get into this, see what you're about in business, and actually bring out business work-life balance and talk about it all. Are you ready?
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. When people ask you what EcoManity does, how do you describe your business?
So we're energy cost reduction, specifically through LED lighting. And when I started, and we'll get into this later, we were like more energy consulting, renewables, you name it, we've done it. But more specifically, the specific focus is LED lighting upgrades.
Okay.
So commercial, industrial, municipal, ag. We don't do like residential lighting or anything like that.
Perfect. So if somebody wants to, a business owner wants to save on their commercial space, they would come to you and find out what makes sense. Is that
Yeah. So we do a no cost energy audit, like a lighting audit. We would go through their facility, figure out what they have, what do they need. A lot of times they've moved things around a bunch of times, so they maybe the light's not proper for what they're using it for, what they need. So obviously those are all things that we want to address. We never want to save money by reducing light where they need it. Obviously that doesn't solve problems. In fact, improved lighting has been shown to have like employee wellness, employee satisfaction, less waste when whatever they're producing or manufacturing and things like that.
good?
So lighting is so important. And think about being in a restaurant that's overlit, right? And think about being in a restaurant that's like really sets a nice mood and is like properly lit. So we don't really think about lighting, but it's so important to, really what we do every day, right?
Absolutely. Very interesting. So you're an entrepreneur at heart. What were your plans when you started your business and how have they changed? Tell me a little bit more about your business journey.
So I started, I had another company, a painting and drywall company, as we had mentioned, and I was painting a house one winter, and I was listening to public radio, and they had a lady on talking about wind turbines, and I thought this was just fascinating, right? So this was probably like in 2005, maybe. And at the end of the show, she said she got trained to do wind turbine certifications at or wind turbine site assessments. Got certified at the MREA, which is up in Custer, Wisconsin, which I had no idea at the time.
Okay.
So I actually went up there and got trained and certified to do wind site assessments. And then, there's different wind turbines. So there's like other classes like wind turbine design and considerations. And then I was asking the wind guy, I'm like, okay, well, as a business owner, I would want to know, or a homeowner, like if I put in this wind turbine and it costs X amount of dollars, how many, if I were to put in solar instead, like what would that cost? And how much solar would I have to put in? And the wind guy was like, well, I don't know. I'm the wind guy. And I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, okay. So then I took the solar classes because I thought if I have this question, other people have to have this question, right?
Yep.
So long story short, I got certified, and then in wind and solar site assessments, and then for residential and then non-residential, and then which is commercial industrial essentially,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And then but not the big stuff. That's like the utility scale stuff is completely different. There's like different dynamics at play.
Okay.
But for wind turbine, someone who put up at a factory or your home or a cabin off the grid, that's the kind of stuff we were working on. And anyway, Focus on Energy is the Wisconsin utility program that people pay into, and they get the money back as part of the incentive to to put these systems in.
Hmm.
And so they required a site assessment to get the money. And so they would, like, we were in a database. People would call us. There wasn't many people in the area that could do one, let alone both.
Sure.
So that's what we did. That's how I started the company. Is basically we were doing renewable energy site assessments. And then I learned quickly that, once they would call the contractors to get bids and quotes, that they had other things in mind. The contractors did. So the business owners, the homeowners, whoever was calling me, and basically I ended up doing a lot of consulting because I had already built a relationship and a rapport with the customer.
Hmm.
And long story short, basically, we ended up just being like the general contractor for these projects. So we would actually be the general contractor for these energy projects, and we got into like solar hot water, heat recovery, geothermal. I mean, all sorts of energy projects. And then over time, you ask how they change. Over
Mhm.
time, the requirements got strict enough that all of the contractors had to get certified in the programs that I was already trained and certified in. And in the meantime, the costs have come down substantially. So back in the day, this was like really expensive stuff. Now it's
Sure.
not that expensive anymore. It's much more affordable. But LED lighting, but also solar panels, right? So the kind of the market had shifted, and the use for like what I was offering wasn't as prevalent. It still is on large scale projects, but you're talking about, $250,000 projects and up,
Mhm.
which you're whale hunting essentially at that point, right?
Sure.
Um, and then so in order to, and how many businesses can actually afford projects like that, right? I mean, there's such a few amount of companies that can actually do those types of projects. So we had shifted then to LED lighting, and we not even LED lighting, just energy efficient lighting, and we had upgraded, basically got trained, worked with a number of different people, and kind of moved the company into energy efficiency. And one of the reasons we did that was every dollar spent on energy efficiency, you save $3 to $5 on renewable energy.
Wow.
So, if you don't save all of the energy you can first, you have to exponentially put in more wind turbines or more solar panels,
Yeah.
right? So instead of just putting more panels up, when it's 8 or 10 year payback potentially, in a year or two payback, you can upgrade your lighting, save 30% of your, electrical load, and then that savings will actually help pay for the solar project or something. And not only that, but now you need X amount less solar panels because you've reduced your load. So it's a win-win-win, essentially.
Awesome.
So we had
Wow.
shifted focus to just really focus on, energy efficiency, and specifically now, LED lighting.
So cool. Yeah. And that is something that I would know nothing about and would truly need somebody that is well educated to help me through that. Otherwise, you're throwing money out the window, even when you're trying to save money and save certain parts of the environment, right? If you don't
Yeah,
have somebody that's helping you with that.
yeah,
Very.
we see a lot of companies, will try to, especially larger companies might have engineers or maintenance staff, and they'll try to do their own projects.
Mhm.
But the biggest challenge that I find with them is that they don't know what makes a good LED or a bad LED, right? So
Yeah,
they think they can find their own sources, and kind of, that's engineers are really smart, and they, but they don't know lighting, and
totally.
this is all I do. So for me, it's like we've helped so many businesses, and we've seen a lot of businesses also have bad lighting projects because they don't know the difference between a good LED or a bad LED, and they try to reinvent the wheel. So to your point, that, needing somebody to offer that service, that's what we do, right? Because that, I think people are really good at having their business, whatever service or product that they have. They're
Mhm.
not good at lighting. Well, that's my product and service, right? So
Totally.
it saves them time and money by having us, do that project for them and then move on. And we're actually part of their team. That's how I look at it, is we're just part of your team, for this project.
Love it. Absolutely. And that's something our coaches talk about too is, if you're really good at one specific thing, like if you're a mechanic and you open up, this business, you're going to keep doing that well. But why are you trying to do your books? Why are you trying to do other maintenance and other areas to help run your business? Hire the experts, get it done, get stuff done quick, get it done
Mm-hmm.
fast so you can continue to move forward. So
Yeah,
thank you for
focus on
bringing
your
that.
what you're skilled at, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, my next question, this is pretty obvious, but what is the biggest way you impact the community? There's so many ways, but share.
Yeah. So our tagline is your savings is our success, right? So savings is really cost savings. A lot of businesses, that's what they care about the most, right? So we're going to
Sure.
go in, they're going to do a lighting project, well, hypothetically, a $100,000 project with a 2 year ROI could save, $50,000 a year. Well, that savings goes on and on and on forever, right? Because we've already saved that money. And not only that, it actually increases over time because the utilities charge more every year. So if we
Yes.
save you 50,000 this year, it might be 55 next year, or whatever. So, but there's also time savings that I just mentioned, kind of the time part of it. They'll just spend enormous amounts of resources internally trying to do this themselves, and it just doesn't work most of the time. And then, we're taking, we're taking its energy off the grid. So there's energy that would have been needed by the grid that they don't need anymore, right? So they're more, basically environmentally sustainable, more financially sustainable.
Absolutely. I love that. Love, love, love it. My next question, we talked about one of the challenges already, but what is one challenge that you have faced as a business owner that others could learn from?
I think the biggest challenge with this business was adapting with the market,
Mhm.
right? So what we used to get paid to do was the consulting. It just went away. Like they just train the electricians or the solar installers and the wind installers to do it. And then once they were trained in the program, then they could do their own kind of site assessment as part of the project. Now I don't know that if there's an argument to be made whether they did it as well because they have more financial gain on selling the project, but
Sure.
either way, I think it's gone pretty well in the state of Wisconsin, with that program, the Focus Energy program specifically. But if I wouldn't have made that adjustment to switch to energy efficiency, and then also seeing the need in the market, right? Companies are chasing these 5, 10, 5, 8, 10 year paybacks. I mean, I've seen different energy projects go 13 years or more.
Wow.
um when a lighting project can pay back in a half a year, a year and a half. I mean, if I said to you, I'll give you a 50% return on your money, how are you going to invest in something that's going to give you an 8% return?
Absolutely. Wow.
So being able to realize like
Yeah,
that we needed to shift focus and focus on energy efficiency, and that's what we could offer help to so many more clients, was a big change for us.
absolutely. Challenge, but positive change.
Yes.
So my next question is, what does the future look like to EcoManity? And do you have an exit plan?
Um, Exit plan, I'll just be honest, I don't have a clear exit plan, and it's because I don't really want one at this time.
Mhm.
Um, we talked a little bit earlier, but it's what'll happen will happen, and I'm not that worried about it. As far as the direction we're headed. And so where are we headed? What does the future look like? I think energy reduction is super important, right? So
Mhm.
a lot of, you think about environmental sustainability, ESG, it doesn't matter if people agree with it or don't agree with it. We can all agree, I say if you're drill baby drill or you're save the planet, I don't think they're mutually, exclusive.
Yeah.
And I think that we all want clean air, clean, healthy food, right? Clean water.
Yeah.
And so energy reduction is important from a homeowner's perspective, from a business perspective, and also controlling costs, right? So controlling your energy costs, which we basically almost have no control over until we take control over it, right? So once
Totally.
we take control over our energy supply with renewables, with efficiency, then it's part of the business, another part of the business that a business owner can control,
Yeah.
because otherwise you plug in and you get what you get. And we're lucky, you're from Wisconsin, I'm in Wisconsin, we have reliable power here. But you look at what's happening in California or Texas or other places, they don't have reliable power, or let alone in other parts of the world.
Totally. Yep. Yeah.
Right? So taking control of the energy is very important, and not only the energy, but the energy costs and the energy reduction, they all kind of go together, I think.
We absolutely do. Well, I love that you aren't planning on stopping what you're doing anytime soon because it does make a big impact on the world and our communities. So thank you for that. So, Brian, my final question for you today is all subjects open. What inspires you most?
I think kind of just positivity, in general. Like, uh, I am an optimist, but having the different availability of what the future could hold, and trying to see how good the future can be, and then be a part of like forming that, right? So when I think about energy reduction, when I think about like, I was talking about businesses being for profit and businesses being for the environment. They're
Um,
not. Why can't it be both? So in my opinion, for profit business is more profitable if it has environmental sustainability in mind,
yeah.
right? And so that's something that I think we can all look forward to, and be a part of, and just, you know, just I think it's awesome what the future could hold, and we all take part in shaping that.
Yeah, we all have control in making those choices to make that future a better future. So thank you so much for the work you're doing in the community, with the environment, with saving people money, businesses money. That is huge.
Yeah.
When we save money on certain things, we have more resources to put into other things that we could make a difference with as well. So
Yeah.
Brian, if somebody wants to get in touch with you and to work with EcoManity, what's the best way for them to connect?
Yeah, I mean, our phone number is 920-876-4020. Of course, we're online at eco-manity, manity.com. LinkedIn and all the socials are great too. So whatever works for them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. Thanks again for what you're doing in the world, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, Stacie. Appreciate it.